Hey guys, back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about Flux Core welding. Here, just to get it started, here are some of my Flux Core welds. It's still actually pretty warm. You guys can't see, can you? All you guys need to know is that it's laid properly. Flux Core is not a beauty queen of welding. To me personally, it's 70-18. But we're talking about Flux Core. So, just a disclaimer, do not put your phone close to a welder. It's going to destroy your screen. Okay, now let's just get into it. So, first of all, one of the most controversial, however you say that word, things I've heard about welding Flux Core, push or pull. Now, by Flux Core, I mean one of the welding guns that goes burr, you know, one of those. Now, by what I mean, here, I'll show you what I mean by pushing and pulling. Yeah. So right here is our blank. Now, by pushing or pulling, I mean, are we going to take the MIG gun and are we going to push it like standard MIG processes do? By that, I mean you have a shielding gas that is usually 75% argon, and then you have the 25% CO2. Now, there's no shielding gas at all, okay? So you guys want to keep that in consideration. So because there's no shielding gas, it's not important if you have proper shielding over your weld. That's one of the pluses to pushing. Now, here is a pull weld. Now, you pull Flux Core. I'm going to just say that now. So what that means is we're going to pull it away from us. Now this piece is hot. I just welded it. Now, here's a push. Here is me attempting to do push. Now, I cannot speak today. I have MIG welded with gas a lot. I just don't have a bottle anymore. They didn't let me fill it up because it's a bad bottle, I guess. Here's me pushing Flux Core. Now, I welded MIG today, just standard. And I did the exact same thing on basically the exact same settings. I tweaked a little bit just to fit the Flux Core needs. And it doesn't want to weld right. Now, that's something that I think is important that got me really messed up when I first started welding. Also important to understand that you're going to have your welders set up a little bit differently. So as we can see right there, this would be our negative. This is our negative and this is our positive. We're flipping them around. Now I'm saying this simple so people can understand. Now if you have your negative hooked up to a negative, that's for a standard MIG process. Now you want to flip these, so negatives hooked up to positive, positives hooked up to negative. That is what you're going to do just to run Flux Core. Out the wire. Now, most Flux Core wires have this it kind of looks like solder. Here we go. It almost looks like lead solder to an extent. That's because there's a little coating of flux, kind of like a stick rod. Yes, you see we have the end of our rod in there. Then we have this flux around it. Instead, it's the inside out. There's the flux here, and then the rod's outside. Or the wire. Most just solid wire MIG welding is going to have kind of a coppery looking wire. As we come to setting up the welder, this welder is a little bit different. This is a camp bell, so they're not running off feet per minute or inches per minute. They are just saying, hey, this is our temperature, this is our wire speed. Now, if you have a similar machine to this, it's nice to stay on the hot side. So I usually keep it around C or D. And if I'm tacking something small, I'll put it up, and this is just the fan mode. Now, for wire speed, I actually don't know. I don't know if this is 10 feet. I'm assuming feet per minute. So I like to keep it right in the middle, just so we get enough material laid down to have some integrity in that weld. But you can also keep it lower if you're also working on thinner metal, so you're not creating as much heat. Talk about this right here. This is something that scared me when I first started welding. As you can see out here, everything is 15 amp. But we got this 20 right here. This is so we can weld the MIG welder. Right now, I have my stick welder hooked up to this. A 15 amp breaker, it's not going to allow you to take as much power as you need. It's still possible, but just spend the extra little bit of money and get a 20 amp breaker. Showed you guys mostly everything you need to know to get started. The best thing I can suggest is to go out in your shop and get some steel and weld. I don't care what, even if it looks like that. Jeez, what is that? But you will get better. Everything comes with time. Just sit there and weld.